So, das erste Kapitel haben wir durch. Geht mit dem zweiten Kapitel los, weiter, meine ich. Was war denn gestern alles? Nicht gestern, in-game, gestern. Technisch gesehen, Livestream her, letzte Woche. Satoku und Rika waren zum Abendessen bei uns. Haben uns ein bisschen erzählt von Satokus großen Bruder, der verschwunden ist, der abgehauen ist. Und ja, das war's im Endeffekt. So, continue. So, mal schauen, wer heute die schönste und beste Bento-Box dabei hat. Wer gewinnt und so weiter. Okay. Anyway, lunchtime has finally arrived. Mian gleefully announced the beginning of lunch. Ah ha ha ha! Lunchtime at last! Someone here will have to play the punishment game, yes? Ah, the punishment game this time. It's a little scary, so... Sorry, but Reina went all out on making her bento. In Reina's case, I don't think she'd lose even if she wasn't taking it seriously. Meep! We tried our hardest too. Satoko and Rika-chan made separate lunches today. Usually you have the same bento, but that won't do for the showdown today, will it? Yes, it's quite alright. Rika and I made sure to make separate ones. Wow, Satoko-chan and Rika-chan both tried really hard. How exciting! What's a little surprising is that Kei-chan was able to make a bento. Good job, Kei-chan! It looks like you really can do it if you try. I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today has been made entirely by Satoko last night. It has none of my personality, so there wasn't anything there that they could praise me for. What does Keiichi-kun's bento look like? I can't wait to see. Don't expect too much. It's just the leftover rice and side dishes from last night. Leftovers are the foundation of bentos. Ah ha ha ha! Now we'll know your dinner last night too. We'll kill two birds with one stone. Was it really better to hide the fact that Satoko came over and made dinner last night? Well, of course it was. If I revealed that I didn't make my own bento, I'd be sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry maniac Chia-sensei and say bad things about curry. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100th story window. It was exactly the same as telling someone to die. But Mi-chan, how will we decide who wins and loses the bento showdown? Keiichi-kun made his own too, so maybe we should call it a draw for today? We could do that. The punishment game yesterday was sort of a whip to encourage Keiichi-san to cook for himself after all. And Keiichi made his own too, so it's a draw. My simple bento with last night's leftovers could have never stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Satoko and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peaceably. However, the club president Mion Sonosaki would not be convinced by something like that. I wonder why you're all so optimistic. Leaving one of our showdowns in such a grey area is out of the question. Now that we've clashed, we must settle the score. Reconciling with a draw only happens in the Yakuza world. I knew you'd say that. There's no way you'd end in that way with your battle lust. This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But, well, I didn't make this bento after all. Maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss. Okay, me. How are we going to decide who wins? It won't be fair if we grade each other's. Let's do an open judgment. Okay, everyone. Assemble! Mion commanded everyone who had just started eating using her club president voice. Come and judge our 5 bento. Write your favorite 3 on a piece of paper and submit it. Understand? Everyone in the class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Came the energetic voices from here and there. Everyone already knew that the showdown this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game. And they were all very interested in what would happen to whoever lost. Of course, they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying. Okay, everyone ready? Then I'll go first, alright? Ta-da! In exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off her multi-tiered, ornate bento box. Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight. That's amazing! It's just like New Year's food. It can't be. It has to be a lie. She must have switched the contents with a catered bento. Such purely Japanese cooking. Mion Sonozaki couldn't possibly make this. Nope, this is easy for Mi-chan if she gets serious. She almost never gets serious though. Cool. Just who do you think this old man is? Given enough time and ingredients, I could even reproduce the Manchu-Han Imperial Feast. Manchu-Han Imperial Feast. Das will ich mir anschauen. Ui. Sieht nicht schlecht aus. Sehr interessant. Imperial Food. Sehr interessant. Und kann ich ein Bild posten? Ja. Das ist das zweite Bild, das kommt, wenn ich das auf Google suche. Aber keine Ahnung, ob es jetzt irgendwie irgendwas mit Manchu-Han-Zeug zu tun hat. Keine Ahnung, was das genau ist. Obwohl, auf einer anderen Seite habe ich das jetzt auch nochmal gefunden. Also scheint halbwegs zu passen. So, the entire classroom gulped audibly, and everyone wrote down a score on the note paper in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just the visual impact would give her a perfect score. Alright, let's see Reina's next. Reina's really good at cooking too. Reina's bento is always like a flower arrangement. Ah! Thanks everyone. I'll reveal my bento now. Eee! Reina's bento was a beautiful mix of the 2 colors of eggs and minced meat, and it too was a bento staple. The Soboro bento. Soboro. Soboro Bento. Soboro Bento. Soboro ist Huhn mit Sojasauce gewürzt, steamed rice, interessant. She had been thorough with side dishes as well, and they were abundant in number. She had spent more time than usual on it, but it was unassuming and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore the household warmth in it that Mion's bento lacked. If I may say, you've done it again. This should get quite a high score. I should have known. It may look rigid, but there isn't anything to deduct points from. Amazing as always. Once again, every one of the judges wrote a score on their note paper at the same time. There seemed to be some who were ravishing their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Reina, and on everyone's faces it was clear that they all wanted to be tasting them rather than scoring them. Then we'll be next. Yes, I will now reveal mine. Come to think of it, Satoko and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. It was impressive that they still made a bento. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Reina's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them how hard they worked. The toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they tried their hardest. It made you feel a little biased, so that you'd give them more points. A few people struck by just that once again revised their opinions and wrote in scores on their note paper. Satoko, Rika-chan, you both made real good bentos today. They might not measure up to Reina or Mion's craftsmanship, but when you think about that, they're pretty amazing. Satoko and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily. This is a secret, okay? What? When Satoko told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's bento boxes. I took a quick peek inside and... half the contents were missing. Not bad. In the end, Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't made bento today. A bold move, they got Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun to share their bentos with them. Hey, Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, how did they buy you out? What are you saying, my partisan? When did we get bought out, and for what? That's right. It's not like we traded them or our duty watering the garden for half our bentos. Curse you, Satoko. What an impudent trick. Satoko grinned, showing her fang-like canines, and laughed in triumph. Cheater. Ah ja. Aber das ist ja zu erwarten bei den Aktivitäten. Regel ist ja, alles tun, um zu gewinnen. Auch wenn es Cheaten ist. Oh, this is only something I learned from you, Keiichi-san. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yes, oh, ho, ho. Now, how naive buying how naive, buying them out with watering duty alone. They are men. If you're going to buy them out, you need to use something a lot spicier than that. For example, like giving them 3 tickets to walk Satoko and Rika-chan around like dogs all day, with them on all fours, wearing tails and with leashes around their necks. That might be enough to get me to do anything. As I was lost in my wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulder and called me back to reality. Damn it! It was just getting good! Aufgabe spezifisch sich in Bento zu machen. Ah ja. Stimmt auch wieder, aber... Wer weiß, wer weiß. Man kennt sie ja. So, einen kurzen Moment. Ich schaue mal kurz, warum der Pegobot nicht online ist. Pegobot könnte offline sein. Maybe offline for extended periods of time. Okay. Alright, next up is K-Jan's Bento. We're all hoping for something pretty great because of your declaration yesterday, but how did it really turn out? Keiichi-kun can do it if he needs to. Reina was really excited for today. Aber wenn die Aufgabe spezifisch sich ein Bento zu machen, hat Keiichi ja eigentlich im Endeffekt dann auch gecheatet. Weil er hat ja die Sachen und so weiter nicht selbst, zumindest nicht gekocht. Ich weiß nicht, ob es selbst, ich weiß nicht, wie das Bento aussieht, ob der es noch irgendwie schön arrangiert hat oder sowas. Aber hat sie im Endeffekt dann auch nicht komplett alleine gemacht. They're all looking forward to it, but it's really just leftovers from dinner last night. I didn't even make it either. How was it supposed to stand up to Mion and Reina and the others? Ja, stimmt auch wieder. That's it. Feast your eyes on this. Ha! I tore the lid off my bento box. There weren't very many cheers. Well, I guess there wouldn't be. Ah ha 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 ha. Keiichi-kun, you tried your hardest too. Reina can tell how hard you worked. Reina, don't feel like you need to compliment me. How did this happen? Was Keiichi-san actually a hard worker after all? Well, I mean, I want to acknowledge how hard you tried, but for this showdown, it doesn't matter. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It was like it spoke for everyone's opinion, just like that. Keiichi-kun did really well considering it was his first challenge, you know. I think maybe everyone should rate his a little higher. But for the showdown it doesn't matter. Alright, Kei-chan, if you have any last words before we tally up the results, I'll listen to them now. What do you mean by last words? Also die richtige Strategie wäre ja jetzt eigentlich dann doch zu sagen, ja. Hier, Satoko und Rika zu verraten. Weil dann müsste er zumindest nicht alleine der Lehrerin sagen, wie scheiße Curry ist. Wer weiß. Aber Keiichi ist ja ein braver Mensch. I mean, that you might be hoping for a few extra points if you appeal somehow to the crowd. Coo. After all, for today's showdown, you just need to avoid coming in last. If you do well enough, then maybe you'll be able to warm out of the punishment game. Ah ha ha ha! You're implying that Keiichi-san's Bento is going to take last place, aren't you? No, this old man wasn't trying to say anyone's Bento came in last or anything. Mion cackled repulsively. In contrast, Satoku's smile was growing somehow awkward. Oh, right. His bento was filled with last night's side dishes. That means it was basically a bento that Satoku made. And Mion outright said it would come in last place. Michan, aren't you being a little mean? Poor Keiichi-kun. Reina. Kei-chan knew he couldn't lose today's bento showdown beforehand, didn't he? He did all that grandstanding yesterday, well aware of that. I don't think there's any reason to go easy on him, do you? Right, Satoko? Yes, you are right. And he came here with this mess. It makes me laugh. Ah ha ha ha. Wait, Satoko-chan. You can't laugh at him. But that bento is just so ridiculous, I can't help but laugh. These side dishes look like they were bought from a shop. It's really disillusioning. Look, this one was just taken out of a can, wasn't it? This cucumber here isn't cut cleanly, like the knife didn't go all the way through. Kei-chan, you never used a knife, did you? Your lack of experience is apparent. No, this goes beyond all simple lack of experience. The presentation is fairly monotonous as well. It's almost a shock to see such a lack of taste. Ah ha ha ha. Ah, it was my first experience putting food into a bento box, so of course it's not going to look too good. Kei-chan. There's a bigger problem than how you put it into the box. Tomita-kun, Tomita, Okamura. Explain, please. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were chosen from our many underclassmen. Tomita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward. The fatal flaw in my Bento-san's bento. It's the coloration. As you know, there are 3 primary colors forming the basis of all colors. So if you want a well-balanced color scheme, then excluding white and black you need those 3 colors. And nevertheless, if I remove the white and black from my Bento-san's bento, all that would be left is dark green. Ah, dark green. No one will want to eat it if you describe it like that. I had forgotten. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Satoko, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? Ah, what strong-willed they have. It was charming, if only because they were working so hard despite having been bought out. The side dishes have no spirit in them, either. They're all pre-packaged or canned food. In other words, out of the 3 necessary requirements for a bento, love, spirit, and taste, we can assert that my Bento-san's bento is lacking 2 of these. The classroom, convinced by the elucidation of the mystery that they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration. Kuh, no heart and no spirit. It's decided then. Keiichi Maebara! This may sound cold, but if you realized how much fun cooking is because of all this, Keiichi-kun, isn't that enough? Enough? In any case, everything is fine as long as I'm not doing the punishment game. Reina was giving a dry smile as well. Ah ha ha ha! It's been settled, Keiichi-san. You're going to be the one doing the punishment game. Ah! Ha, 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 ha. She laughed. She laughed in such a vile manner, but she didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Satoru was speaking ill of a bento that she'd practically made herself in front of the whole classroom, and I could tell how painful that laughter was. Okamura-kun said before that this bento lacked spirit, but among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. This meal that she made for me yesterday in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one. I won't let it end with this slander. Well then, last place, Keiichi-san. Please admit your honest defeat already. Could you wait just a moment? When I began to speak in a low voice, the expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was baring his fangs at the last moment again. My bento was defeated because it lacked spirit. That's how he explained it. Am I wrong, Okamura-kun? Okamura-kun, who had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered in reply that I was right. How do you measure spirit? By difficulty, by effort, by sweat or tears, by its manifestation? Then how would you rate these burns that are still on my hands? Wow, Keiichi-kun, those are oil burns. Great, the burn marks from when I almost caused a fire yesterday looked just like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. I could clearly tell that the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put into it. I see. To turn your failures at cooking due to lack of skill into scars of hard work instead. As I thought, I cannot falter around this man. That's right. I lack skill. I am so bad at cooking that my grandstanding yesterday was pitiful. But I didn't run away. I fought. And I delivered these results. Is that not spirit? What do you think? Reina wants to acknowledge it. Nobody can keep on going if their defiant spirit doesn't get valued. The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay. The tables are turning. But Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun, bought out by the objects of their unrequited affection, weren't about to lose either. They shifted to the counterattack, clearly exceeding the price they were paid. I see. I understand your feelings, my Bada-san. However, if spirit was all that mattered in cooking, the world wouldn't need chefs. That's right. If a chef brought you burnt steak and said they put their spirit into it and tried hard, would you pay them? You wouldn't you? It's the same thing. That's right, that's how it goes. The male students took Tomita and Okamura's side. Yeah, they did have a point. What about consideration? Even if you did get a totally black steak, if I knew how much the mother who made it struggled, I would eat it. I would eat it all. This time the female students in the class took my side. Good. Now we're even. Besides, the bento is a refinement of one's law of given form. It only means something when the other person feels that way. Does your bento make us feel that way, my Bada-san? No, it doesn't make me feel that way. You're mean! The girls in the class began to boo loudly at his remark. Now even Okamura-san was panicking. Order! Will the spectators please refrain from making remarks? Your Honor, in order to prove how much of my spirit has gone into the bento, I call Miss Ryogorena, an authority in the culinary arts, to the stand. Wir sind jetzt im Gericht. Rena thinks this bento has spirit in it. It might be rather artless in places. But I think cooking isn't just about outward appearances. The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. In response, all the men in the class began to boo. Your Honor, The opinions of Mahabara-san and Ryogo-san are extremely sentimental and aren't in following with common sense. They are unsuitable to use as evidence. Order! Order! The prosecution's objection is sustained. Go ahead. Let's replace the bento in question with a birthday present, for example. Let's say on my birthday, I, Tomita, received a hand-knitted sweater. And he, Okamura, received a bookstore gift certificate for 10,000 yen. That felt strangely real. Was it actually just an example? Common sense detects which of them has the spirit. It is, of course, the hand-knitted sweater. If we went back to the bento, this would be handmade side dishes. And the gift certificate, which is nothing more than money, allows you to buy things. In other words, it's the same as simple, meaningless canned goods. Küchengericht, ja. Hallo Sherlock. The boys and girls all began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they received as presents in the past. Damn! Tomita-kun. He changed the subject to something that could easily grab everyone's attention. Not bad. I'll lose to the initiative at this rate. Objection! This matter regards the spirit put into the bento. It is entirely different from birthday presents, as they are each unique situations. Overruled. Will the prosecution please continue? Damn! Now then, what's important here is the fact that the spirit of the giver and spirit of the receiver are totally different. Between the handmade sweater that looks a little bit askew and the 10,000 yen bookstore gift certificate placed here before your very eyes, which would you say is the better choice? The gift certificate, right? It's 10,000 yen. 10,000! Can you calculate how many comic books you could buy with that? You could instantly complete a full collection if it was around 10 volumes long. Dozens of happy, humorous, slightly perverted manga. Wie viel sind 10.000 Yen in Euro? Ja, knapp 90 Euro. Was kostet so ein Manga? Okay, der sagt... Ja, der hier sagt... Da oben sagt der Comicbook, da unten sagt der Manga. Das sind zwei komplett verschiedene Sachen. Moment, ich hol mal kurz was. So, da bin ich wieder. So. Ich habe hier in meiner Hand eine Ausgabe Batman Comic. Kostenpunkt 5 Euro. Und ich habe hier Ausgabe Nummer 1 vom One Piece Manga. Kostenpunkt 5,95 Euro. Also 10 Volumes. Full collection if it was around 10 volumes long. Ne, das ist sogar, ich weiß ja nicht, wie hoch der Preis für Mangas oder Comicbücher in Japan ist, aber für 90 Euro könntest du 6 Euro. Könntest du 15 Mangas von kaufen. Zumindest wenn sie alle gleich viel kosten wie hier der One Piece Manga. Wenn nicht sogar mehr. Ich glaube auch nicht, dass die viel mehr kosten. Oder ich könnte mir sogar vorstellen, dass die sogar billiger sind. Beim Deutschen müssen die dann erst noch übersetzt werden und so weiter. Okay. Also laut Internet der eine sagt, er ist Japaner und Mangas kosten 410 Yen. Der andere sagt, der lebt in Japan und meint, die Mangas kosten so im Schnitt 600 bis 1000 Yen. Das wird dann schon passen. Also 600 bis 1000 Yen, das wäre ein bisschen teuer. Aber egal. The bliss of your soothed heart can be compared to the sweater. Machen wir hier erstmal weiter. The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats. But all guys at that age are like that. Even I would choose the gift certificate over the sweater in that case. Hey, wait, weren't you guys the ones who said it was about love, spirit and taste right at the start? Since when did taste trump all? That's the stance they were taking now. I believe this has demonstrated that the spirit of the giver and the spirit of the receiver have no casual relationship. Yes. No matter how much Marabara-san struggled to make this bento, that cannot enter into consideration for the rest of us on the receiving end. Mere sophistry, Tomita-kun. It has plenty of spirit. Whether that gets through or not is the receiver's problem. That's right. Taste is more important. Enemy of women. What was that? Ugly. Now the courtroom is in chaos, but I can't allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Satoko's honor. Now then, do the defendants have a response to give? Slowly and strongly, I nod and step up to the dais. Irgendwie. Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun. Do you two really think you can beat me with mere words? The prosecution just said that we should value the gift without basing it on the spirit of the giver. Correct? At some point I began speaking formally. Yes, that's right. No matter how much you labored to make the bento, that labor should not factor into our grading. Then I have a question for the prosecution. If I, Mayabaru-san, were to take the bento I made for today and placed it beside one bought from the store, would both of these be given the same score? The prosecution hesitated to speak. Got you. That's right. A convenience store bento doesn't even come close to a homemade one. No matter how badly made it is, it has far more spirit than a bento that you just bought would ever have. You see, that spirit is being graded, meaning the spirit the cook put into the bento has already reached the recipients. Admit it. Boom. With those impactful words thrown in the air behind me, I pointed my finger. The girls, led by Rena, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admitting it too. I'll admit it. You admitted it? You admitted it, right? Then let's move to why a convenience store bento has no spirit in it. What exactly is the spirit in a bento in the first place? Objection! Mayabaru-san is trying to deceive the court by using abstract expressions. Objection overruled. This sounds interesting, so listen until he's done. Got him. Now I'll show you two the difference between us. Your Honor, I'd like to call Miss Rika Furude to the stand as a witness. Meep. Even for Rika-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt from the blue. There's no doubt that she never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before. For this showdown, it doesn't matter. Rika Furude-san, your bento today was very well made. It looks delicious. Meep! Yes. Satoko and Rika-chan's bentos had been made of half of Tomita-kun's and Okamura-kun's. Moment. Ich muss mal kurz meine Nase putzen. Sonst niese ich gleich. Okay, so. The prosecutor's faces turned pale, but they were too late. Reina, would you bring Okamura-kun's bento over here? Huh? Okay, sure. Your Honor, my bento has no relevance to this case. Overruled. Your Honor, I submit Okamura-kun's bento box as evidence. Look at it. Look at what's inside. There's only half in there. It's not about whether there's half, please. Please look a little more closely. See?
They're exactly the same.
Your Honor, you've seen it. Mr. Rika Furude's bento is stolen from Okamura-kun's. There's no way such a thing could have spirit in it. No, but that's just a coincidence. It's already obvious. Spirit, it's a game of catch between the giver and the receiver. The bento box, then, is the ball. That bento was something Okamura-kun was given from his mother to son. That means Okamura-kun is the only one who can feel the spirit from this bento box. Now that it's been disturbed and been stolen, it no longer has that spirit. Dun dun dun! Yay! That did it. Huh? What? Is that true? Rika-chan, is that true? Meep. Nippa! I see how it is. Mion the judge folded her arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I would win or lose. Okay, before announcing my judgment, I'll start from the top. The entire classroom quieted. First, from an objective standpoint, there is no doubt that the bento of the accused Keiichi Maebara must be seen as poorly made. This is something that the grading results clearly display. As Kate-chan said, cooking is not all about taste. The spirit put into it should be considered subtle seasoning. For grading, though, that would only amount to a few points. It's so subtle that it's not enough to alter the results. Now then, I'd like to mention the original reason for today's Bento Showdown. What was the reason for it? That's right. We started it to see whether the accused Keiichi Maebara could cook for himself and to measure the result. Yeah, that's right. Keiichi-kun did make his own bento. That stung my conscience a bit. But for the showdown it didn't matter. So the whole basis behind this showdown was to cook a meal for yourself. In other words, whether or not the meal was homemade. Rika-chan neglecting to do that is a much bigger problem than how good her bento is. In other words, is she disqualified? Nippa! Rika-chan let out a nippa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome. Don't take it personally, Rika-chan, that our club thinks like that don't matter. Keiichi did well, like I thought. You tried your hardest until the very end. Rika-chan demanded I lower my head, then she petted. With that over with, this case is closed. Today, last place goes to Rika Furure. Whoa! That miraculous turnaround. And last place went to Rika-chan, the one everyone had last expected. The whole classroom went wild. I'm amazed you managed to avoid coming in last place with such a terrible bento. Satoko looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of voice. There's no way I'd come in last. There's nothing in this bento that wouldn't deserve that last place. But it's got ready-made side dishes and canned goods, and has no style and grip. Satoko was speaking more and more poorly of herself as time went on, so he roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it. I told you. Spirit is important. This bento isn't all about appearance, it's got all kinds of flavors in it. But spirit isn't the only thing. It tastes totally weird, and what about it is weird. I thought it was great. It was absolutely great. That's why I packed it. If the last night had been bad, then I would never have brought it to school. I would have come here with some bread and a milk carton. But... Oh, just shut up already. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. At some point, Reina had come up behind us. She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the beginning. When did you realize I hadn't made it? When you showed us your burns, I guess. I mean, there's nothing in your bento that needed oil for. Reina-san, don't you think you are misunderstanding something? I didn't do anything. Huh? Satoko-chan, you weren't the one who made this bento. Then did Keiichi-kun make it by himself after all? Okay, then I guess he did. Reina smiled roguishly and turned from Satoko to me. When you cut cucumbers, you hold the knife like this and go like this. As for the colors, you can express all sorts of things if you place vegetables in the right way. This lecture was clearly not meant for me. But you've gotten a lot better since the last time you showed us. I see you've been studying. If you keep this up, I bet you'll be able to make better and better dishes in no time. She continued saying words clearly meant for Satoko while facing me instead. Satoko was wearing an ambiguous look and couldn't even nod her head at her. Anyway, no matter what anyone says, I like the way my bento is today. I'm not gonna share it with anyone else either. I'll eat the whole thing by myself. Wow, how greedy! Reina wants to try some too. As we were going back and forth, Satoko rubbed her eyes, as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else. Excuse me, the truth is, I got Tomita-san and gave me some of his bento. Stupid! Hojo, what are you saying? If she'd kept it a secret, then at least she would have been saved. Tomita-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise. Huh, is that true? Really? Oh my! Mion spun her finger around, then pointed to the hallway, sentencing Satoko to the punishment game as well. Satoko left the classroom behind her, completely prepared, as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand. I can't let Rika go alone. I will accompany her to the very depths of hell. You don't need to go that far. My word, Keiichi-san really is terrible. My word, Keiichi-san really is terrible too. Humiliating only Rika like that. He's truly a rotten person. I didn't mean. I couldn't just return Satoko's kindness with malice. Hey? Satoko really is silly. Rika-chan spoke so that only I could hear, grinning happily. Now then, let us be off, Rika. Punishment games are one of our duties as club members. Satoko seemed awfully happy, and how not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron. Mion, I come clean too. I didn't make my bento today. I was the same, so I'm going with them for the punishment game. Huh? Even you, Kei-chan. What's going on? Ooh, good luck with the punishment game, I mean. I get the first aid kit already. Call ambulance in advance, will you? And maybe a here's just in case. Here's. Das Wort kenne ich nicht. Leichenwagen. Okay. Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happy smiling Reina behind in the classroom, I went into the hallway. What are you doing? You finally won for once. I had no idea you had such an odd taste for these punishment games that you'd go so far as to volunteer yourself for one. Guess so. It's a little much for a hobby, eh? I swear, I think you're underestimating this one. We're one thing, but grave harm might actually befall you, Keiichi-san. I hope you're ready to have 1 or 2 ribs broken. That sounds like it would hurt. I don't like getting hurt. Keiichi-san, you just stand there and nod along, okay? Rick and I will smooth it over. I swear. I can't believe I have to look after you even during a punishment game. Seriously. I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. so it made me want to smile. Hey, I don't want to eat some vegetable stir-fry. Satoko, can you make that? But I do want to eat some vegetable stir-fry. Nah. But well, there's nothing I can't do if I put my mind to it. She can make it very well. I really like Satoko's stir-fry. Was ist denn Stir-Fry? Stir-Fry. Im Endeffekt Pfannen rühren. Chinese cooking technique in which ingredients are fried in a small amount of very hot oil while being stirred in a wok. Okay. Logisch. She was uneasy at first, but once she got assurance from Rika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes. It settled then. Let's go shopping for stuff after school today. I don't really have any idea what to buy after all. That is true, isn't it? I think it's still too early for you to go shopping at the supermarket, Kage-san. It would make me anxious if I wasn't watching. And Satoko makes me anxious that she'll buy the wrong thing if I'm not watching. Rika! Meep! The conversation continued as we walked, until we arrived before the door to the teacher's lounge. Okay, let's get this punishment game over with and discuss the menu for tonight. Meep! Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satoko to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand. We'll all be together in death. I won't let anyone die alone. We're all together. I won't let anybody die alone. What an indiscreet thing to say. I want to know part of something so disturbing. She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was gonna make me blush. Alright, just beyond this door is the world after death. However, we shall return. All of us will. Yes, everyone will. Then let us sally forth. Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chie-sensei was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day. Oh my! Maebara-kun, Furure-san and Hosho-san. Is something the matter? Wie sieht denn die im Original aus? Okay. Nicht mal allzu schlimm. She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. Ja, geht auf jeden Fall. Da fand ich hier, Mion und Shion fand ich am schlimmsten bisher von den Originaldingern. And we were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more. Alright, let's do this. Ready? What do you mean ready? Kage-san, you're going to stay quiet. Rick and I will handle everything. And trust your life to me for now. Go for it, yay! What are you all doing? We could see 2 of the 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Satoku inhaled deeply. And so... Hey, you over there! You curry... Exa! Und so endet die erste Hälfte des Kapitels. Wunderbar. Warte, Moment, falsch. Menü speichern. Speichern. Gott. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. So.